Hey, y'all, listen. It is Wednesday. I can't believe it's Wednesday, but it's Wednesday. It's trending topics. We got stuff to talk about. Excuse me. That's what I get for eating right before I come along live. Okay, we got stuff to talk about, okay? The title is called Too Much. Too Much. So, Diddy legal team is still in touch with the president's office. And although Trump said the other day that he highly doubts he's going to give Diddy a pardon, they're still hopeful that Trump will perhaps change his mind and give Diddy a pardon. Now, listen, you don't have to like Diddy, but you should like justice, right? You should like equal and fair justice. And no matter what anybody wants to say, equal and fair justice is, they tried him. They tried to get him on RICO. They tried to get him on the S trafficking, and they didn't win. So you can't still punish somebody because y'all didn't put on a good performance, so to speak. The man should be out. It's the Mann Act that he got charged with, and they should set him free. Then we're going to talk about, too much. This fire chief scandal. Apparently, from what I'm gathering from the story, so what I do when I do these stories on trending topics, I try to myself research as much as I can and then bring y'all pieces that y'all can get a glimpse of what it is that's going on to the best of my ability, right? And so what I'm gathering from this family is that they call the cops all the time on their child because the child is probably out of control and they're not sure what to do and where to get the proper resources. So every time the child, the 10-year-old, gets a little out of control, they dial 911. And it's better than them harming the child. They doing the best they can. So the mother took away the girl's phone. And that's a whole nother story for another day, how addictive these devices are to the children. And so I'm not going to lie to you, double digits, we call it, double digits. When my son turned 10, we got him a phone. Probably was not a good thing at all. Probably should have waited. But, hindsight is everything. But I did give him a phone at double digits. So this girl is 10. She has a phone, and she got to be addicted to it. Because when her mother took the phone, she lost her natural mind. They called 911. The fire department came. The police came. The ambulance came. And they took the girl away. And as they was taking her away and putting her in the back of the rig, she's yelling, "I want to go home. I don't want to go." And the fire chief told her to shut the F up. That's what he told a 10-year-old. He's a 22-year vet. And he told the 10-year-old to shut the F up. But we have seen in the past with adults, when people are in mental crisis, it seems like whether it's the police department, fire department, whatever, they don't respond well. They don't respond well to people in crisis. And ain't that ironic? Because for the most part, when you dial 911, it's a crisis. Remember the story I did when they went in the house, the woman called 911 and the cop shot her in the, I didn't mean to say that word, but in the head. Y'all remember that story? lost her life. So you got the chief of the fire department telling a 10-year-old to shut the F up. Tragic. We're going to talk about it. And then there's justice for this young boy. To summarize the story, the mom had a child by someone else. They break up. The mom gets a new boyfriend. She's pregnant by the boyfriend, but the boyfriend got a problem with his hands. It's a DV situation. She's pregnant, broke up with him, tried to get a restraining order. They denied it. He came back. He was in jail for a moment. He got out of jail. And as soon as he got out of jail, he went right to her house and went for her. And she pregnant. I think they say he stabbed her in the neck. Her son, that was not his child. Meantime, she's carrying his child, the one that stabbed her. Her son, that's not his child. He tried to help. And the man stabbed her son in the chest. He lost his life. Well, at least justice happened in that case. 120 years the judge sentenced him to. But imagine that mother. Your child tried to save you from the man whose child you was carrying. He's gone. And now the child that you had, your baby is born. I'm going to pray for that mom and the baby girl she had by the one that took the life of her son. Because every time she look at her daughter, she's going to be reminded, we're here, but my son is gone. And your father, the monster, is going to be in jail forever. Even the poor child, look at the legacy she was born into. It's a lot. But we're going to talk about it because tonight's title is called Too Much. Now, if we have time, I'll do a bonus story. If we have time. Because David trying to do an album. We're going to see how it goes. And y'all know what I need in the chat because y'all know what time it is. I appreciate everybody that's out there. Y'all know what time it is. So what do I need in the chat? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Wednesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title tonight is called Too Much. Okay. Diddy lawyers do confirm they are in contact with Trump for a pardon. We got the fire chief scandal. We got justice for the young boy, and we might have a bonus story. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all. It's your favorite moderator up here. Look here, y'all. Now, yes, I know I did say in the chat a couple of weeks ago the snack bar it was down for maintenance. Look, it is back in limited capacity. That don't mean don't go overboard or else it'll break down again. Hit the like button, choo-choo.
Hit the like button, people. Choo-choo. Let me go ahead. You know what? Because I have videos connected to a lot of these stories, and sometimes it ties up my computer. I'm going to go ahead. Let's do the Diddy story first. Why not? Hold on one second. Let me share screen. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so one of Diddy's attorneys did an interview, Nicole Westmoreland, and she spoke. She listened closely because she says a lot of stuff about, their strategy during this trial. So let's take a listen.
A CNN exclusive, one of Sean Diddy Combs' attorneys gives her first interview since his conviction last month, and she's giving an answer to what's been largely speculated about. Will Diddy get a pardon? Watch.
Have people in Sean Combs' orbit, have they had conversations with the Trump administration?
Yes. My understanding is that we have reached out.
Reached out is one thing. Having a conversation is another. Do you know if there have been active conversations about a pardon?
Yes, it's my understanding that we've reached out and had conversations in reference to a pardon.
President Trump, when he was asked about this pardon, he said, quote, "I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and he seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile." And the president indicated that a pardon is likely not on the table because of that break in his relationship with Mr. Combs years ago. How is he feeling now about the chances of a pardon given the president's commentary?
I think that Mr. Combs is a very hopeful person, and I believe that he remains hopeful.
Joining me now is a reporter who got that interview, CNN entertainment correspondent Elizabeth Wagmeister. And with the follow-up there, reaching out and having a conversation are two different things. So we now know that they are having a conversation. What other insights did you learn?
Hey, Victor, it is so great to be with you. You know, as journalists, that we focus on the details. So we had to have that follow-up. But look, I sat in that courtroom nearly every day for this trial, along with our friend Laura Coates. And make no mistake, this verdict was a victory for the defense. Even though Sean Combs was convicted on 2 counts, he was acquitted on the more serious charges. So I asked his attorney about the legal strategy here. Take a look at what she told me. This verdict was, in no uncertain terms, a victory for the defense. Talk about that strategy from day one, to come out of the gate and say he is a domestic abuser, but that is not what he is on trial for here.
So, the strategy was to just tell the truth. That's really what we decided, to just tell the truth. We didn't need a creative story. We didn't need to overreach. We knew that telling the truth meant not guilty. We knew that he had not sex trafficked anyone, and we knew that RICO was absurd. So we figured, hey, we'll tell the truth and that will pay off. And I believe that for the most part, that strategy worked.
He is still. Now, Victor, just yesterday, the judge actually denied the latest attempt from the defense at bail. They have been trying relentlessly to get Sean Combs released ahead of his sentencing. But again, judge denied that, and that sentencing is set for October 3rd.
Yeah, Elizabeth, we'll remind people that the defense didn't put on a single witness after the weeks of witnesses from the prosecution. Does Attorney Westmoreland believe that the prosecutors just overplayed their hand here?
She absolutely believes that they overplayed their hand here. In fact, she does not even believe that they should have ever brought this case. And she tells me that's exactly why they didn't call any witnesses. She said that that was a risky strategy, not to call anyone, not to have Sean Combs take the stand in his own defense to testify. But take a look here at what she told me about what she thinks about the government's case. Was this a mistake? Should the government have never brought this case?
Absolutely. The government's first mistake was bringing the case, period. And the second mistake was allowing it to keep going. I think they definitely knew early on, they knew that there was no way that Mr. Combs committed sex trafficking or RICO. They knew that, and they just continued prosecuting the case anyway. And I think that was their second mistake. And I think the jury saw straight through it.
Now, attorney Nicole Westmoreland, keep in mind, she is one of the few people who is actually in Sean Combs's very close inner circle. She has been visiting him in Brooklyn at the MDC, and she tells me that this would be hard for anyone, but especially somebody who was Sean Combs, one of the most famous, powerful people in the world, now sitting in a jail cell. She says, though, that he is remorseful and that she believes that he still has a lot of good to do in the world. That is what she told me, Victor.
Elizabeth Wagmeister, great get. Thank you.
Hopefully, he did learn a lesson. We shall see. Let me share your screen again. Hold on one second. So Sean Diddy Combs' attorney confirms they approached Trump administration for a pardon. An attorney for Sean Diddy Combs confirmed Tuesday that his legal team, I don't know why this thing keeps playing, that his legal team has approached the Trump administration about a pardon, even as the president has signaled he's leaning against letting the rapper off the hook, according to a report. Nicole Westmoreland, a member of Combs' defense team, said the legal posse has reached out to Trump administration about pardoning the Bad Boy Records founder after he was found not guilty of 2 counts of the Mann Act, but acquitted on sex trafficking and racketeering charges in July. It's my understanding that we reached out and had conversations in reference to a pardon, Westmoreland told CNN in an exclusive interview. President Trump on Friday told Newsmax host Rob that he was wrestling with whether he would consider pardoning Combs, but appeared to lean against it after stating the rapper was hostile to him when he ran for office. Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent, Trump said, of the Diddy case. Probably, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great and seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile, Trump said. It's hard, like when we're humans and we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you know someone you were fine, and then you run for office and he made some terrible statements. So I don't know. It's more difficult, the president continued. They have talked to me about Sean, Trump revealed. When Rob asked if Trump was more likely a no for Combs, the president responded, I would say so. The president has previously signaled that he had been considering pardoning Combs while the music mogul was still on trial in Manhattan. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me, he said in the decision in May. Despite many remarks made by the commander-in-chief, the disgraced star remains hopeful about a pardon, his attorney claimed. Combs is a very hopeful person, and I believe he remains hopeful, Westmoreland said. Combs has been behind bars since his September arrest, where he faced federal charges of coercing girlfriends into having drug-filled sex marathons with male sex workers while he watched and filmed them. Judge Ron Subramanian ruled Monday that he will remain in jail, rejecting his latest bid for bail. Combs will be sentenced in October and faces a maximum of 20 years behind bars. I think his attorney made some good points, right? She made the point that, the prosecution knew that this was a circus and that they did not really have a case, but they decided to press on anyway. Julius, what are your thoughts about Diddy being hopeful that maybe in spite of Trump saying all those horrible things about him, Trump may still give him a pardon? What are your thoughts?
Trump and Diddy run in the same New York circles. Trump and Diddy run in the same circles outside of New York. Both are from New York. Both also have residences in Florida. They run in the same circles. I've said from the very get-go, even before the trial started, he will receive a pardon. Trump is doing the exact same thing, just more health decline wise. In his first term, he says one thing, but then will do another. And knowing the feeling that I have, and it seems to be absolutely certain, he will receive a pardon. It's just no question. Because if Donald Trump can figure out how to maneuver to get Matt Glesdine, whatever her name is, into that cushy prison in Texas, he's also figuring out a way to give a pardon to Diddy. Because also, him and Diddy also had the same activities going on. Allegedly. My thought, my opinion. But the fact still stands. Diddy will receive a pardon. We know Trump's petty. Trump is going to be petty first and then do the pardon after. But it still won't surprise because it's been expected. Now, on to the attorney's comments and analysis on the whole trial as a whole. And I have to say, it is nice to hear an eloquent analysis on something to where there's no holes in it. Everything she said, I completely and utterly agree with. This case was a farce. It was a travesty. It was a circus. I do believe the government had no case. The government had no case. And they shouldn't have brought it. But everybody is out to do a look and have a look for themselves. They continued with this case. And so I completely and utterly agree with this attorney. She gave a very thoughtful analysis, and I like how she didn't victim blame. She just stuck to the facts, and her analysis was on point, and I completely agree.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Hey, Diva and chat, almost Friday. Thank goodness. Waiting for Friday already. 48, you're in the building. What's your thoughts?
Hey Diva, Julius chat. Um, okay, so I agree with Julius. I do think that he'll eventually get a pardon.
Mm,
Uh, we're just gonna see like how much time he's like given. But I think Trump is I really feel like he's gonna do it because of the climate of everything. Like racial injustice is at a fever pitch in the United States of America. Now, he got a couple of days, a few months before he's, going to get his sentencing or whatever. But I really feel like Trump needs to do it because from what I see like online and also locally where I stay,
hmm
it's not going to be good to lock this man up. And everybody, even people that do not like Diddy, are not understanding what's going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he's gonna do it because of the pressure. I do think that he will get a pardon, but I think it's gonna be pushed more because it's so much racial injustice going on in the country. And like I said yesterday, like we're getting sick and tired of hearing about Diddy, but I don't want to put it all on Diddy. I think Americans of all walks of life, all colors are just tired of injustice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, the lawyer made a good point. She did, but it's frustrating to feel like we as a people don't really have a voice, but then they try to tell us that we have a voice. It's
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying? Something is gonna just pop the top. you know. I don't know, Diva. I'm just sick of Diddy.
You know why? Because this thing has been going on for so long. They took months, almost a year, to arrest them after the raid, and I said it that whole time. It's because they had nothing, but because they wanted to save face, and people kept asking, like, "What are you going to do? You raided his home. When are you going to arrest him?" Right? So that's why they arrested him. But you see, what's messy too is this thing is so layered. It's like they always, at the end of the day, they want to put something on the woman's back, right? Because Damien is the one that brought these charges. And then before it was even time to bring Diddy to trial, he left the building. He quit. He was out. And then they got these 6 females. They did not have not one male on that team. So they put all of this on their 6 females back. And what would it have looked like? Even though I feel like they should have dropped the charges because they didn't have anything, but what was it going to look like when 6 females come through and then they be the ones that say that we're dropping the charges? So, in all fairness to them, they had to move forward. It was thrown in their lap and it sucked. But what they could have did is they could have pulled back on the charges. But instead, they got arrogant and they did some superseding charges, which was messy. And then then they knew when they was prepping their witnesses, they knew that all of them was half telling the truth. I'll be kind, instead of saying lying, I said they don't have truths, and they knew that. Some of the witnesses, out of their own mouths, they had to meet with them over 20 times. Who needs to meet over 20 times when they're telling the truth? I don't need to meet with you when I'm telling the truth. Not no 20 times. Here's my story. When you put me on the stand, I got this because it's the truth. It's the facts. But because they was trying to put 20 on 10 and they wanted people to hone in on this, that, and the other, they had to keep rehearsing it with them. And then when they got up there, they still couldn't get it right. And the thing about a rehearsed story is you still going to have to be subjected to cross-examination. That's why the truth works. So no matter what I say out my mouth, even when you put me up against cross-examination, I'm going to be fine because I'm telling the truth. Some form of the truth. Now, nobody has a perfect memory, but some form of the truth will always be in you, but no part of a lie will be in you. You're not going to remember a lie. That's why they had to rehearse it. So the prosecution, they messed up big. And I feel like now, because of their era, and they're being salty over this loss, they're trying to make campaign. And it's sad. It's like, no, you put me through a jury, my peers. Everything they threw at Diddy, he took it. And now they're trying to stick it to him more because they lost. It's just a mess. But we'll stay connected and we'll see October 3rd or maybe before if Trump wakes up and decides one day to pardon him. If not, we'll wait till October 3rd to see the sentencing. But I don't trust this judge. I think this judge is really going to try to throw the book at him. But we'll move on to...
May I add real quick?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be... the sentence is going to come down first, and then we're going to hear the news of the pardon.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does the right thing by Diddy, because I feel like this judge is very biased, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and roll into this next story with this fire chief scandal. I was in complete and utter shock, especially because the chief is a 22-year veteran. Listen, I did Peds when I worked as a nurse, and one thing you learn, when people are in distress, they're definitely not themselves. So how do you break down as a professional, knowing that when someone is not them, when they're in distress, they're not themselves? Kids have vomited on me. They pooped on me. They spit medicine in my face. I didn't lose my stuff. That's what I signed up for. It's like, I don't understand how you 22 years in the game and you can't handle it. Let me share your screen so we can get into this story. Let me see this one. Let's do this.
Causing outrage in West Babylon. You hear a fire chief in that video berating a little girl as she is put in an ambulance. The child is heard pleading for help. News 4's Pacey Chang has the reaction from the town and the new punishment that fire chief is now facing.
Well, we spoke with the grandmother of this 10-year-old. The grandma wasn't home at the time when this happened, but she said that her granddaughter was having an episode. She had become enraged because her mother had taken away her phone as punishment. The grandmother was completely stunned to watch this video to see how this first responder, now identified as a fire chief, treated her granddaughter. Expletives directed at a 10-year-old girl on a stretcher, recorded by a witness alarmed by a first responder's language. Shut your mouth. That first responder identified as North Babylon Volunteer Fire Company Chief Peter Alt.
Maybe it was a blessing I wasn't there, because I probably would have jumped all over this guy.
The girl's grandma wasn't home when this happened. She says her daughter called police for help when the girl became enraged and out of control.
That's not a professional way to deal with anyone. I mean, I wouldn't want them speaking to my children like that or my family. I'd be outraged myself as well.
Neighbors stunned by the harsh language used and say police are often called to the house.
There's been a few times over the summer where we've seen the police and fire over there, but they never treated the young lady like that.
After viewing the video, the department says Alt has been relieved of his duties while they investigate, calling the conduct unacceptable.
I'm just so mad. When you call for help, you call the police, the fire department. They're supposed to help you, not treat you like garbage and threaten you and curse at you, a child at that.
The North Babylon Volunteer Fire Company says they are reviewing their policies and procedures to see if they need to do any additional training. And the town of Babylon is also investigating this entire incident. Reporting from West Babylon, Paisley Chang, News 4, New York.
All right, let me add a little bit more to the story. Hold on one second. Yeah, the girl needs to be in the institution. I feel that way too, because I feel like the mother, for some reason, seems like she cannot handle the girl. But at the same time, this particular chief of police, he did not handle it well at all. And too many times we hear about when they go to help somebody that's mentally ill. And I'm not saying that this young lady is. I'm just saying it's too many times when they go to help somebody that's mentally ill, it ends up, something bad ends up happening. I don't know why this screen won't show. Okay, I think it's coming through now. Long Island Fire Chief Peter Alt caught cursing, yelling at distressed 10-year-old as she's placed in an ambulance. He said, "Shut the F up." Shocking video shows the Long Island, I don't want to play this, shows the Long Island fire chief berating a 10-year-old girl, angrily telling her to shut the F up while she's strapped to a stretcher and being lifted into an ambulance during an emergency call. North Babylon Fire Chief Peter Alt has been stripped of his duties while an investigation is underway following an outrage over the viral TikTok video posted Monday showing him hurling obscenities at the child. A statement released Tuesday by the volunteer fire department confirmed. The fire company is presently reviewing all of its training policies and procedures and will determine if further training with respect to responding to emergency calls is required, the statement read. The fire company does not condone this behavior and deems it unacceptable. Alt, a 22-year veteran of the North Babylon Volunteer Fire Company, was one of the first responders on the call Monday night in West Babylon after the girl's family called for help to calm the child down, her grandmother told NBC New York. As emergency responders began loading the 10-year-old into the ambulance, a concerned neighbor recorded the chief verbally berating her. "Shut the F up. It's like we're with you every effing week." Alt can be heard shouting at the child. "I don't want to go," the girl yells back. "I want to go home." "Shut your mouth," Alt angrily replies, then mumbles something as the ambulance doors close. The child's grandmother, who wished to remain anonymous, said she was shocked and devastated by the way her granddaughter was spoken to. "Maybe it was a blessing I wasn't there because I would have jumped all over this guy," she told the outlet. "When you call for help, the police, the fire department, they're supposed to help you, not treat you like garbage and curse at a child like that." The concerned grandmother said her daughter called the police on her granddaughter after she had taken her away the child's phone, causing her to become emotionally distressed. She added that the family has called first responders in the past to deal with the child, but personnel have always been understanding with her granddaughter. Neighbor Mark Sims said the incident left others on the block disturbed by how the chief handled the emotionally distressed child. That's not a professional way to deal with people, Sims told NBC New York. "I wouldn't want him to speak to my children like that or anyone in my family. I'd be outraged myself." Sims added that police have been called to deal with the child a few times this summer, but never treated her like that. Town of Babylon officials have also released a statement on Facebook condemning the fire chief's appalling actions. The use of demeaning, inappropriate language by a first responder during an aided call is appalling and completely at odds with the standards of dignity, respect, and professionalism. Our residents is served, the statement read. We understand that the individual involved has been relieved of his duties while a full investigation takes place, and we expect a full and transparent review of the incident. The town stated that it expects meaningful steps to strengthen training policies and oversight to ensure that this does not happen again, adding that there is no place in our town for behavior that disrespects or harms the public, especially when it involves a young person or child. The town of Babylon condemns this conduct in the strongest possible terms and stands with the affected family and all residents who rely on our emergency services in their times of need. The statement concluded. Commenters on both the viral TikTok video and statements released on Facebook have also called for the responders who stood by and allowed all to speak to the child in such a way to be investigated. The Post reached out to North Babylon Volunteer Fire Department for a comment. Julius, your thoughts?
Where is the mental health professionals that could have been there? I want to get one thing out the way. He should not have spoken to that child like that. I don't care if they have been there every effing week, as he said, and I quote, "Sir," or should I say doodle head, "you're there in a professional capacity." But Diva, there was like a story a year or two ago of a person with severe autism, and he looked like, and I think we covered it on our channel. And he was pow-powed. He survived. No, he wasn't pow-powed. His worker was, but he survived. And this was the police against them instead of, doing things differently. Same thing with this fire chief. Thank goodness nothing happened. Do I believe like the young lady needs mental health help to organize with her anger and her outbursts? Yes. Is she still young enough to where the pattern can be interceded and changed, as Iana Fanzant would say? Yes. But to tell her to sit down and shut the F up, you just don't say that. That makes her feel like less of like she doesn't have autonomy. And she said, "I just want to go home." It's sometimes, and I've seen community police officers do this. And I used to see it a lot when I was little. Come and take a walk with me. Talk to me. What's going on? Talk to me. What's upsetting you? How can I help make the situation better? Showing compassion, empathy, and most importantly, patience can go a long way. But as we know, we also covered a story of the lady who was in mental distress, I believe in Indiana or somewhere in the Midwest. And now she's no longer with us. So there is a lack of deliberate mental awareness training that is not there in these positions, in these professions, that needs to be there. Not everything is a threat.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat. Um, they said the police comes over there how many times a week?
They just said they came over often in the summer. I think they're known to the family. The girl has issues. She got some issues. She thinks
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
services. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not all for it. And I think the problem is she probably wants to be grown when she's not. Or she's addicted to her phone. And that can cause kids to have mental outbursts. Because she said the lady, when her daughter took the phone from her, she had a fit. she went into a rage.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids are addicted to these roadblocks and that other stuff. They're addicted to the internet. And people can be addicted to the phone just like substances, gambling, anything like that. These kids are addicted to these phones. There's not one time that you will see a child without a phone or a tablet. Everywhere you look, and they're on it, and they know how to do stuff that grown people don't know how to do. But yet and still, he still don't cuss out of a child. You supposed to show professionalism, especially you being the chief. Like, come on, be for real. And then he's saying we come here all the time dealing with you like she's a problem. So the family members, the mama, the grandmama, or somebody need to talk to a counselor or give this child some Ritalin or something to calm her down. But something is not right that they got to keep coming out there to that house.
Mm-hmm.
Something is disrupting in the house.
For me, Katrina broke up.
I don't know why y'all do this. I mean, you know I be on the panel.
All right, 48, your thoughts?
Hey Diva. Okay. What's really sad to me is that like kids today, they might feel a way about a police officer,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never ran into a kid that hated firefighters and paramedics. And to me, it just gives them a bad mystique. Now
Mm-hmm.
you have a now you got people that can look at you guys just like the cops. Like you don't care about them or anything like that. That's to me that was the most shocking because I'm like, dang, the firefighter, everybody loved the firefighter. He's like the hero, you know? Now, Diva, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Katrina said too. With the little girl having behavioral problems because of the phone, I kind of blame the mama. I'm 41, right? I got a 21-year-old, I got a 17-year-old, and I got a 12-year-old. And
Mm-hmm.
I pay those bills. My oldest son's in school, so I pay his bill because I want him to focus on school.
Right.
But I wish you would call me with a attitude, have anything backhanded, crying, tears, and you ain't paying not one damn bill. Not once.
Right. Right.
So for her to be 10 years old and that behavior to still be going on, that should have been nipped in the bud at 2, 3, 4, not 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm not giving that guy no excuse to talking to that little girl because it ain't no excuse for that. But first, let's deal with home. You need to handle your business as a I'm not Diva, to me that's crazy whenever I hear parents or even see it in real life where kids falling out in the grocery. I'm like, what you better get them together.
Mm-hmm.
It's and then they have to also explain to their children, you're not like these other kids. See, you're different in many ways, not only being a young girl but being a young Black girl. You have to put those things and be proud of that. It's don't put it into your children to be afraid of being Black or Hispanic or wherever. It's not about that. It's about having pride in yourself and wherever you come from. You're representing other people, not just yourself. Like I always say, it come back to self-love, and parents need to be doing that, teaching their children that, and then not letting YouTube, Apple TV, and all that stuff raise their kids. Now to this sheriff, this chief,
Mm-hmm.
just like they put on a felon, I can't go nowhere, Diva. I can't even come up there to New York and try to get a job with you, or work around you, because when they run my name, they're gonna be like, oh, there go a felon. They need to put those kind of things on these folks when they get um uh, fired from their job, let go. It needs to be a nationwide stamp that say this fool or this chick did such and such, not to be hired again. The fact that he is a chief and he couldn't handle himself, what? Like, don't you supposed to have like some kind of decorum about yourself? Like, what, people can just rile you up like that, fireman? Like, you don't even deal with criminals like the police. You a damn fireman and you not calm.
Mm.
And then for you to have a relationship with this family, how damn disrespectful. So I could just imagine the conversations that they would have about this child if you would tell this child straight to her face to shut the F up.
Yeah.
You don't care about that community nor that family. They was a problem for you. And I want to say this too, to anybody that's working in public service, whether you cop or city official, it is a privilege to work for the people, to serve the people. It is a privilege. It's not a right. It is a privilege that you have to not only get from being a respectable and honorable person, but it's a privilege when you have people's lives in your hands too, when you have people's emotions in your hands. Like, I don't even know if he understands like the damage that he could have put to that young girl, Diva. Like I said, I've never heard of a kid hating a fireman, but man, I bet this kid hates firemen.
Yeah, this little girl, that family needs resources. And so I'm gonna take it that this is not the first time she had to be brought to some hospital or some facility. This facility needs to help the family get the resources, or because if you took the phone away and you had to call the police, I could only imagine. There's a lot going on with this little girl, and this family need resources, or their resources are going to keep being dialing 911. And so right now she's 10. When she's 18, they're going to get more aggressive. Go ahead, Katrina. You wanted to say something before I move on to the next story?
Yeah, she got a lot of rage in her. I mean, like I said, she got a lot of rage in her. If you can't calm her down by taking a phone, like I said, she probably addicted to this phone, to the internet world or whatsoever. I don't know if she's artistic or anything like that, but I'm not the person that like medicating kids. But if it takes for her to take medication to calm down, to be herself, to make sure she's normal, I can get it. But the police coming back and forth, they gonna end up calling family Department of Family Children and everything, and they gonna get all up in your business and all that. So the thing I would do if I was that mom, I would take her somewhere myself, get counseling, get some type of intervention or something in there to stop her, because 10 years old, you right there at that mark, because they know what they're doing at 10 years old. They know what they're doing.
Well,
So
it depends on the mental capacity of the child. If
yeah,
they
yeah,
doing that.
yeah. And then, like we said, because we don't know if she's artistic or not, because we don't know if she's artistic or not. And we giving her grace, but still, no grown person, no grown man should be cussing a child like that anyway, especially if that child is not yours. Shouldn't be cussing your children, but especially if that child is not yours, you most definitely shouldn't be cussing nobody else's child out, which we know the police be cussing them out and stuff like that too. But still, just show some kind of decorum, especially when you out there with your crew and you the chief of the police. And 48, I have a question. I know we gotta move on, Diva. How long you had a felon on your record? Because if it's been over 10 years, felonies drop out.
I
Check to
got
look
my
into that.
I got my charge maybe like 16 years ago when my middle son was a little baby.
With felonies drop off in 10 years. So
Oh,
look at your
okay.
record again. They fall off in 10 years. But that's all I
Well,
got, Diva.
I got a good job now, Katrina. But I was
All right,
saying,
girl. I'm telling you, they fall off in 10 years. But yeah, you got it. Okay, Diva, I'm done.
That's fine. No, that's good information to say. That's fine. Thank you for that, Katrina. I appreciate you. All right. So let me go ahead and roll into the last story. This is just sad. The amount of violence that's going on. I'll tell you one thing for sure. You just got to be careful about who you date. Let me share screen. Let's see. I think this is it.
Right, Joe, this was the maximum sentence according to those sentencing guidelines. Latario Smith asked that Crissetti Brand spend the rest of his life in prison, thinking about that life that he took from her. Jaden's father also, after the sentencing, said this was the best outcome.
It ain't gonna be a lot of relief because we still missing my baby. It's just a little bit of closure for us, that's all. Just a little bit of closure, just to let us know, at least the person who did it to him, he gone for the rest of their life.
Lataria Smith was remarkably collected during her impact statement, but then broke down in tears when the state started playing videos of Jaden Perkins singing and dancing. He was a talented performer, and his tragic death was a huge loss to his friends, family, and community. In March of 2024, Crissetti Brand went to his pregnant ex-girlfriend Lataria Smith's apartment in the Edgewater neighborhood, ambushed her, and stabbed her in the neck. When her son Jaden tried to intervene to protect her, Brand stabbed him in the chest. Smith's request for an order of protection against him had recently been denied. Brand was granted parole on March 12th, the day before he attacked Smith and her sons, hours before a scheduled hearing on her case. Now, the state played several voicemails showing Brand continued to lie about the case, including making up a fake interview with a witness about Jaden's dying words, and to intimidate Smith by sending her son's autopsy photos to her in the mail. Judge Angela Petrone said Brand has proven he cannot be reformed and showed no remorse. She sentenced him to natural life in prison plus 120 years. Jaden's family said they were glad it's over and called him a hero.
It was a small sense of relief to hear that, but it won't bring him back. And we just want to say thank you to the state's attorney for working so hard to get our son some justice.
Jalen is the hero out of all of this because he saved his mother and his brand new sister life. Jaden is the hero.
And Crissetti Brand appeared via Zoom for this hearing. And before Angela Petrone actually handed down her sentence, the judge, that is, handed down her sentence, he said it is what it is, that he was planning on appealing, and logged off that Zoom call before she gave her sentence. Live at 26 in California, Megan DeMar, CBS News Chicago investigators.
He had the nerve to be arrogant. Let me just share screen again. Okay. Let me X out of that. Wicked stepdad, disgraceful courtroom outburst as he's jailed for life over the unaliving of boy 11. A convicted DV abuser who stabbed the 11-year-old boy to death as a child heroically tried to protect his pregnant mother has been sentenced to life in prison, but not before launching into a vile tirade during his sentencing hearing. Crissetti Brand, 39, was handed a natural life sentence plus 120 years by Cook County Judge Angela Petrone on Tuesday, nearly 18 months after the horrific unaliving of Jaden Perkins in Chicago, Ravenswood neighborhood. Lataria Smith, Jaden's grieving mother, addressed Brand directly in court, telling him, "You have taken away one of the greatest gifts God has blessed me with. I will never be okay. You came and destroyed my life." The judge described Jaden as beautiful, innocent boy who died protecting his mother and called the unaliving exceptionally brutal. But Brand, who represented himself at trial, showed no remorse, appearing virtually from jail. He initially asked to skip the hearing altogether, sneering at the judge. "You're going to give me life anyway. So it's like, why the F am I sticking around?" He ultimately stayed, only to interrupt prosecutors repeatedly with outbursts and objections as they presented new evidence, including a chilling voicemail he left Smith just weeks before the attack. "You keep moving. How you effing moving? You going to see what I'm talking about," he said in the message. Prosecutors revealed that Brand had also mailed Smith graphic photos from Jaden's autopsy and made threatening phone calls from jail, pressuring his mother to drop the charges and issuing threats against Jaden's father, prosecutors, and even the judge herself. When Petrone finally handed down the sentence, Brand logged off the scene in defiance, telling her, "I know I can't change your mind. I'm at peace. I'm going to take it up with the notice of appeal court." Insane, this guy. Insane. That's the young man that lost his life protecting his mother. The tragedy unfolded on March 13, 2024, just hours after Brand was released from prison, when he broke into Smith's home and ambushed her and Jaden as they were leaving for school. According to prosecutors, Brand had been lying in wait inside the apartment with clear intent to unalive the woman who had rejected him. He grabbed Smith in a chokehold and stabbed her 15 times. When Jada stepped in to defend his mom, Brand turned the knife on him. Jaden died from his injuries. Smith, who was pregnant at the time, survived, as did her unborn daughter. Jaden is the hero out of all of this because he saved his mother and his brand new sister's life, said Smith's uncle, Titus Washington. Jaden is the hero. Assistant State Attorney Danny Hanachek blasted Brand as a chronic abuser who has spent nearly his entire adult life either behind bars or facing charges, primarily for violence against women and children. Brand had only recently completed 8 years of a 16-year sentence for attacking another ex and pointing a pow-pow at her young son. He was released in October 2023, where for months he had begun stalking and threatening Smith. Though Smith repeatedly reported his behavior to authorities and the parole board, Brand was inexplicably released again on March 12th. Less than 24 hours later, Jaden was dead. Nothing will ever rehabilitate this defendant. He is nothing more than a pathetic lifelong criminal, Hanachek said. What this criminal never counted on is this one 11-year-old boy who will put an end to Cressetti Brand's terror. Brand's self-representation during the trial made proceedings chaotic and painful for the victims' families, as he was permitted to cross-examine witnesses and even call himself to the stand. Jurors took less than 90 minutes to convict him on all charges, including first-degree unaliving, attempted unaliving, aggravated domestic battery, and home invasion. The case has since sparked outrage across Illinois and exposed grave flaws in the state's parole system. So this just is, we always have to do this as a side note. This man kept getting out and he was obviously trying to take people's lives and Diddy can't get bail. This is insane right here. 2 members of the Prison Review Board who authorized Brand's release resigned following the unaliving. And lawmakers have sent past legislation allowing victims to submit impact statements before parole decisions and seek restraining orders against parole candidates. Oh, this is such a sad story. But at least he will never be free again. Julius, your thoughts?
My heart goes out to that mama. Because not only is she going to have to hold herself together, I hope and pray that her young daughter doesn't have any mental deficiencies or issues. But unfortunately, with crimes like this, that sometimes is the case. She is going to have a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of grief that she may not once overcome. She's going to feel responsible. But she didn't know he was in the vicinity. She didn't know he was going to attack. It wasn't her fault. She is a victim too. Her son was a hero. Her son was a hero. And I'm pretty sure when he crossed over and he saw them Golden Gates for the first time, our good Lord welcomed him with bright open arms, telling him, "My child, well done. Come, come. All this ice cream is yours. Well done, my child. I hope she is receiving lots of therapy. My heart goes out to her. My heart goes out to that father who was a victim of this maniac as well, with the stalking and the text harassing and all of that. And like someone from the family said, and I just said it, that young man is a hero. May his spirit always be with them, shining bright as their new guardian angel.
Thank you, Julius. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah. Maybe he's a hero, but he shouldn't have to be a hero. She knew this man passed. She knew this man was violent. She brought this man into her child life. This man was threatening you the whole time while he was locked up. You knew he was in jail for domestic violence. I mean, for DV. And this is what you brought around your child. Your child shouldn't have to be no hero. Your child should not even be in the morgue. Because you went and brought this cancer into your life, this probably would have never even happened. Now, I'm not saying that I don't feel sorry for it. Don't get me wrong. But you brought this into your life. You brought this person into your life that took your child away. Your child trying to defend you when you should have been defending your child because you should have never even brought this monster into your house. The biggest trick that Satan put out was there making people think that he did not exist. People like this is the bottom of the pit of hell. He's been doing this his whole life. And then this act, oh girl, up in the curse. Then he's sitting up there saying that he don't even want to come to court. You gonna do what you gonna do anyway. I'm gonna get life. Why do you even have life? Why are you still living? Why are you still breathing? If my child is not breathing, you shouldn't be breathing. I don't care if you is locked behind bars. Those folks put you out, tried to somebody you were rehabilitated and let you went out. And the first thing you did was went out and committed a unaliving. Now I do have sympathy. The sympathy for is the baby girl that survived. As I have sympathy for the mom too. But the thing of it is, you brought this into your life. You brought this cancer into your life, and took this person, took your child away because you wanted a man that was in prison for DV. I don't understand these people mindsets. I don't get it. I don't get it. You don't bring any and everything around your children. You don't do that. You don't do that. And it's so sad. And then I don't know if she was pregnant with his child, but you didn't care if she was. You didn't care because you was trying to unalive her too, which means that if she was unalive, that the child would have been unalive. This person has no soul. And like I said, he don't even need to be alive. Why is he alive? We seen people get the electric chair less than this, and he's still living. I mean, he's still alive. You giving him life? He don't deserve life. He took that child's life, so his life should be taken. But that's okay. Big John gonna get him in there. Somebody need to get him in there because, like I said, I don't play around when it comes to children. I don't do that. I don't. I just it pisses me off to the highest level. His ass. I mean, he shouldn't be breathing. He shouldn't be breathing. I don't care if they did give him life and they called him the little child a hero. He shouldn't have had to be no hero. He should have been a child. He shouldn't have had to be in there defending his mom from a domestic violence person that she brought into their life. This oh that's all I got. That's all I got.
I understand. 48, your thoughts?
Well, first, I just want to say to little Jaden, rest easy up there. Cut up with all the other little kids. Bother Jesus. Run around heaven. Enjoy yourself. To the mom, my condolences to her, and her family. But I kind of piggyback off of Katrina. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Julius as well, because like Julius said, she's gonna have to like deal with that and come to the fact that she kind of like brung that into her life. She's not responsible for that man's behavior, but she brung that dude into her family's life. So I do pray like she, she gets counseling and help because she's gonna need that. You know what I'm saying? And for him, Diva, have you heard of 47 now trying to charge 14-year-old thugs, as he say, as adults? Like, since we doing reform, let's do it all. People, like Katrina said, individuals that take the lives of children, but then not only take the lives of children, you are a repeat offender of gross violence. You should be put down. And I believe like how Russia do it. Russia give them like a year. Get your affairs together, call your people, let them know you're gonna be up out of here, whatever date, but it's gonna be real close. Not like America. I don't want his ass sitting in no jail where other women who were battered, going to work, paying taxes, paying for this food. I don't agree with it. So like Katrina said, yes, to the pits of hell and to the unaliving of him is what I'm hoping and wishing for. But to Jaden again, rest easy, watch over your little sister and your mama. And man, just enjoy yourself up there in heaven.
Yeah, this is so heart-wrenching. And she's in enough pain, but we gotta speak the truth over here and perhaps save somebody else, right? The mother knew this man's history because his history was too long. And there's some things, ladies, that I would say don't take the chance on your life with thinking somebody going to change. Let somebody else take that chance. I'm good. If your history told me you cheated on all 13 of your girlfriends, I'm not going to be number 14. I'm good. I don't care what you look like. Care how much money you had. If you was locked up and it was for DV and you pulled out a pow on your last girlfriend and her kid, what do I think is going to happen to me and my kid? And this fool right here, they said a fool represents itself. This man is sick. Then he going to threaten the judge. He threatened everybody. Then he got the nerve to say, I'm not coming in here to sentence him. And he slams down. He ain't never getting out, but it's just disrespectful. And he going to go to appeal court. So he going to tie up our time with trying to appeal this thing. But for sure, those people that let him out on parole, yeah, I bet y'all did quit. And y'all should be sick to your stomach right now. Every job is not meant for everybody. And there's some jobs that I just would never do. I don't want to be the CPS worker, the Child Protective Services. I pass on being a cop. And I would pass on being a probational officer. And I know somebody got to do it, but it just ain't my ministry. And being the one to let somebody free. Because it's a thin line. And sometimes it's a roll of the dice if somebody changed or not. But somebody like him, his evil behind should have never got out in the first place, especially because she put in and asked for a restraining order the day before he got out and came in and took her, tried to darn near take her. He stabbed her 15 times. And you stab a young boy in the chest? He's evil. He's pure evil. I do want to touch on this last story really quick. It won't take us long. I've told this story over here. I did not grow up rich, okay? And so at one point in my mother's life, but she did end up getting a job and working and being able to get off of it. We were on food stamps. They called it food stamps back then. Now they got different names for social services. You got a little debit card and whatever the case may be. But back when I was growing up, it was a literal book with paper money and it said food stamps on there. And so now they're saying that, there's 12 states that are saying that if you get these, the SNAP benefits, you cannot buy junk food. Hold on one second. Let me just see. I think I might have clicked out of it. Oh, let me see. Did I click out of it? I might have clicked out of it. Let's see. Maybe I didn't. Okay, I didn't. Here we go. Let's take a listen real quick.
My confirmation, our department has encouraged states to think differently and creatively about how to solve the many health issues facing Americans. One way is by not allowing taxpayer-funded benefits to be used to purchase unhealthy items like soda, candy, and other junk food. The number one purchase by SNAP recipients is sugary drinks. SNAP is a supplemental nutrition program meant to provide food benefits to low-income families to supplement their grocery budget so they can afford the nutritious food essential to health and well-being. That is the stated purpose of the SNAP program. The law states it, and President Trump's USDA plans to deliver on it alongside our partners at HHS. So today, I'm proud to sign 6 more waivers for Florida, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Colorado. This is in addition to the waivers we've already signed for Iowa, Indiana, and others across the country. I continue to encourage states to be laboratories of innovation, think through how you can promote healthy families and healthy communities. And because of our historic partnership, USDA and HHS, and the visionary leadership of the governors here with us today and of the states represented by the signings, we are doing something about it. These SNAP waivers are just one piece of the MAHA effort. We work so closely together to encourage voluntary commitments to remove artificial food dyes, among other things, from our food supply. And together we are crafting sensical dietary guidelines for Americans that prioritize whole, healthy, and nutritious foods.
I'm also working with Secretary Rollins on the dietary guidelines, which should come out next month. The dietary, or they're coming out, I think, it's the end of September, 3 months ahead of schedule. And the dietary guidelines that we inherited from the Biden administration were 453 pages long. They were driven by the same commercial impulses that put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid. And they were incomprehensible. And we are going to release dietary guidelines that are 4, 5, or 6 pages long, that are understandable, that are simple, and will allow people to make good choices about their food. They will drive changes in the school lunch program and prison lunches and military food, and they will begin to change America almost immediately.
So let me just, I'm not going to go through this whole, what is wrong with his voice? But anyway, that's a side note. I was just wondering what's going on. So I'm going to come down to just tell you, Arkansas, beginning July 1 of next year, they're going to restrict the purchase of soda, fruit, and vegetable drinks with less than 50% natural juice, unhealthy drinks, and candy. Colorado is March of next year, restricts the purchase of soft drinks. So every state is restricting it differently. Florida restricts the purchase of soda, energy drinks, candy, and prepared desserts. Idaho restricts the purchase of soda and candy. Indiana restricts the purchase of soft drinks and candy. Iowa restricts all taxable food items as defined by Iowa Department of Revenue, except food-producing plants and seeds for food-producing plants, whatever that means. Louisiana restricts the purchase of soft drinks, energy drinks, and candy. Nebraska restricts purchase of soda and energy drinks. Oklahoma restricts the purchase of soft drinks and candy. Texas restricts the purchase of sweetened drinks and candy. Utah restricts the purchase of soft drinks. And West Virginia restricts the purchase of soda. Julius, your thoughts?
Geez, he sounds like a raspy roly-poly-oly. Okay. Now, I do think that some folks have gone overboard. But, some folks are going to get what they're going to eat. Do I think that they could try eating in moderation? Absolutely. But just to say, oh, you can't get no junk food, you can't get this, you can't get that. How is that free will in the country? How is that respecting the right of choice. No, it's about control. Maybe produce better quality. Maybe quit with the price gouging and there'll be more money in the program. The possibilities are endless, but certain kind in the government, they're not gonna bend. That's it, that's all.
Thank you. I think it's really about they're saying that it's a subsidized program of nutrition, and that's why they're saying that sugary drinks and junk food is not nutritionist for your health. I think it's more about that than about there not being any money. Denise, thank you for that information because I was just wondering like what was going on with him. So what you said is a strong possibility. Katrina, your thoughts?
I get what you're saying, Diva, but why in the hell are we listening to a man that self-medicated himself with substances for 13 years, driving around with a dead whale head on his car, swimming in a lake that has E. coli in it, does not want people to take the measles vaccine, and his shaky voice ass trying to tell somebody how to be healthy. You're not even healthy. You had a worm in your brain. So what kind of healthy yet you have? I still think you got a maggot brain. You can't, I mean, like I said, you want these people to go out and buy this food, no junk food whatsoever. But do you know the price of the food that's not junk food? People have to buy what they can afford. Buying food like the nutrition foods and whatsoever, the whole foods will take your whole check because I shop at Whole Foods. And that organic stuff is not cheap stuff. And yes, you can go find some stuff in the grocery stores and and be at a limit. But the reason why people be getting this stuff because this stuff is cheaper. And that's how they feed their family. He talking about Fruit Loops. I ate Fruit Loops when I was little. Fruit Loops ain't did nothing to me. I'm just saying he always talking about being healthy, being this, being that, with no research behind it. He's not even healthy. So how you gonna tell me how to live my life when you're not even living your life the right way? And like I said, people can afford all that stuff. If you go through look, do you see how high that stuff is? People can afford the stuff they can get. And they talking about apple juice has a lot of sugar in it. Grape juice have a lot of sugar in it. Orange juice have a lot of sugar in it. But you telling the kids not to drink sodas. And I'm not all for kids drinking sodas and all that type of stuff either. But is this how you raising your family? That's how you raise your family. And they talking about on the tax dollars. That's why I told a lot of people a long time ago. Watch what you're doing with these discounts cards, cause they seeing how you paying for your food. You getting a discount, but anytime you swipe that card and your whatever card or how you paying for your food, they were monitoring you. They were seeing how you was buying your food and what you was buying your using your food stamps on. I told this to a lot of people a long time ago. But the thing of it is, he should be the last one to send up there and tell somebody what's healthy and what's not. It's ridiculous. Stay out of these families' homes. Yes, they might need this stuff because we had, like, I know what you're talking about, the book Diva. The five was green, the brown, the tens was brown, and the other one was pink. But anyway, people have to do what they have to do, and they have to feed their kids on a budget. If they get food stamps, they trying to get the cheapest thing that's in the store because the food stamps only going for a certain amount. You can't buy certain things on it anyway. So like I said, let these people do what they need to do. I'm not telling people to go out there and abuse the system. That's not what I'm saying. But people can't afford this organic and this other type of stuff because it's too expensive. Give them a raise in the food stamps then if that's what you want these kids to buy. Give them a raise. Do that. You talking about changing school programs at the schools. Y'all trying to eliminate school luncheon. So what are you talking about? He need to go somewhere else. I don't know why in the world they put this man over the health and human services. How he gonna be over the health and human services? He can't even concern his own health. Look at his health. Like, I don't get it. He's sitting up there shaking in his voice. All right, I'm done.
Thank you. 48.
I am loving this one. Y'all got me cracking up on the panel and in the chat. Okay, so first off, Diva, I think he's related to the Kennedy family, and I
He
don't
is.
know it. I don't know exactly what happened to him, but something happened to him in his childhood, and it affected his speech. So, like,
Mhm.
That's the reason why he talked like that.
Okay.
He's just being funny. Okay, so I agree with Julius and Kat, but I'm gonna come at a different angle because I don't want to repeat it because I agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see what they're trying to do, because like, have you ever seen, just one example, like, have you ever seen 600-Pound Life?
Uh-huh.
These people are like immobile, can't do anything, and they get like Medicaid and they get food stamps and stuff like that. And when you see them people is buying like 30 bags of Cheetos, 2 cases of 24 Pepsi or whatever. I think they have like that projection of seeing like how Americans are spending their money or their food stamps, I guess you could say. And that's not how all of them are, but I think that's some of the things that they see and some of the perception that they have. But I would say, myself, it would be good now to like learn a couple of things, how to do it yourself. Learn how to make your own Cinnabon Cinnabolls. Make your own, like, learn how to make your own stuff. Because back in the day, that's what our folks had to do. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then too, the stuff is more expensive. I agree, like what Kat said. And then they also need to look at, with all of these things, you also have to look at the food deserts too. Like, some of these people don't have choices, so they have to go to like the little mom and pop shop that just get that kind of stuff. So are they gonna replace, and put in healthy food options for these people? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of can see what they're trying to do, but I think like they're giving it a year too, because I read the article too just a little bit on Google earlier, and they're rolling it out for next year, but I don't think it's that bad. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. It's healthier, like soda options that you can choose. They might not be as sweet or anything like that. And then too, I also would encourage you guys to go look at some of these other YouTubers from other countries that like to try things that are from America, and you'll see like the differences in a lot of stuff. Like, that's one of the things that I could say that I've noticed that almost every country has on us, is that our food is really bad. You know
It's
what I'm
it's
saying?
horrific. It's
So
horrific. Yeah.
I can see why they want to like change it, because a lot of people are getting sick from food and junk. So I'm not mad at it. Maybe make it a restriction. Maybe not just take it completely away. Do it like crack, like a dope fiend. Wean them off of it. Give only have an allowance of $100 for sugary snacks or something like that. But I do think it's good for Americans to get more healthy, because we are an unhealthy nation.
Yes,
And
we are.
then I think that it's good for Black Americans that are on it. If you receive it, or anybody that's on it, if you get it, like, it's, look at other options. And if you are on food stamps, not saying that everybody that's on it just like struggling, but if you are, it would behoove you to learn how to make your own sweetbreads and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like, um, our country is still not as bad as other places. So I'm Black in America. I learned to grow up with struggle and adapt. So to me, it's like when I hear these things, I'm just like, oh, okay, Project 2025. I've been living Project 2025 since 1983. So,
Come on now.
uh,
Ah, come on now.
so everybody just, um, fend for yourself, learn how to do some things for yourself, and then this stuff won't bother you too much. And if you can encourage and help somebody else that may not know, that's younger or whatever, then help them too. But the program is called Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'll close out saying this, that yeah, the fact is that America, Netflix had, I want to say the documentary is called The Blue Zone. Don't quote me. When I remember it, I'll put it on my community page. It's an amazing, excellent documentary. It leans towards what you're saying, 48, how in other areas of the world, they live longer, they're healthier. Some of them don't even know what diabetes is, just because of their natural way of living. We you know, our world is very addictive, and they put things, you know, from the commercials that, you know, they put on TV. When I was growing up, it was heavier with the commercials because it wasn't all of these streaming systems, right? Now with the streaming, you know, I guess it depends on what you're streaming, what commercials you will get. So I'm sure a lot of the children's streaming stuff, there's more commercials that lean towards like getting the Apple Jacks and how you got to eat this and drinking milk or whatever the case may be. But there's so many things in our food that is just killing us. And once you're addicted to it, it's even harder to wean yourself off. You know, food should nourish you. That's it, Diva. I seen it too. Yeah, Special K. I did this show, is just a documentary of that Blue Zone, is just amazing because it even talks about how naturally in some areas of the world, they call it the Blue Zone, like some areas of the world where they naturally have to walk everywhere. And, you know, just by just them naturally walking, not even trying to exercise walk, just them naturally walking to do everything, how they just live longer and they're healthier, and how they, you know, the foods that they eat, it nourishes their body rather than pumping their body, you know, to be disease ridden or so forth and so on. You know, there's some places, because I'm trying to really change the way I eat and, you know, just exercise more and drink more water. There's some places I used to go and I loved it. And now I'm like, oh my God, it's so salty. It's disgusting. It doesn't taste the same to me. So you can change your palate, but it's not an easy thing to do. And you have to really want to do it. But in terms of to go back to this SNAP and restricting them of just the soda and the snacks or whatever, when people want to do something, they're going to do it, and restrictions usually don't stop them. And what do I mean by that? I know a lot of people, listen, I grew up in the Bronx, okay? I grew up in the hood. And what people would do when they wanted to get something they really wanted to, and they had the SNAP benefit, they would just sell their benefit to somebody so they could get the physical cash to get what they want. So, you know, they'd be like, okay, come to the supermarket with me. I get you $50 of groceries. You give me XYZ dollars in cash. I'll get you the $50 of groceries on my SNAP benefit. You give me XYZ dollars of cash. And then they're going to go buy the soda and the chips and whatever anyway. So that is not really going to stop anybody from getting the junk food that they want. It would be better if you educate the people, and if you stop these industries from putting all of, like what he is trying to do, also putting all of this stuff in the food that gets the people addicted. Sugar is just about as addictive as the stuff on the streets, if you know what I'm saying. It's a high level addiction.
It's the highest. That's the most addictive drug out there is sugar.
Yeah, it's a very high level addiction. David, you got to watch what you say in the chat, please. It's just sugar and everything. They lace everything with everything. And then, you know, even now the trick is they throw organic on it. And I don't even think that's regulated. Like, they're throwing organic on stuff that's not even really organic. They're throwing healthy on stuff that's not really healthy. Then, you know, if you look at turkey bacon and you look at regular bacon, check out the ingredients. They almost like 99% the same. You know, so it's just a matter of educating everyone from early on just about food and what it does to your body. And I will also say this. Growing up, I never been to fast foods as much as my son has, because my mother she had 4 kids. She just didn't have the money like that. So when we went to McDonald's or something like that, it was literally a treat. Nowadays, because both parents are working and families are so busy, and then the kids are in dance, karate, basketball, this, that, and the other, you're tired. So on the way home, the best you got is, okay, what y'all want from McDonald's? Somebody getting a number 5, somebody getting this, somebody getting nuggets, somebody getting that. So it's just a lot more than just trying to restrict somebody from it. It's an education that has to go on. It's a lifestyle, and it's an understanding. So we eat the food. Then we get high blood pressure. Then we get diabetes. Then we get high cholesterol. Then we got to get a med. Then we take that med, and that med throws our body out of whack even more. So then you go back to the doctor, and they give you more meds. It's just it's a crazy thing, and it's something that we could probably have a broader conversation on. But the best I could say to everybody is start somewhere. Don't pressure yourself. And the start that you can do is drink more water. Because they also say that a lot of times it's not even that we're hungry, is that we're dehydrated. And a lot of these foods that we are eating, they naturally dehydrate us, right? It's a bigger conversation for another day. But David, no problem.
But then again, you gotta look back at this days, Diva, when we was eating McDonald's and stuff like that. It was real food. I don't know what McDonald's got going on now. I don't even eat McDonald's anymore. The food just don't taste the same. The fish sandwich used to be the best fish sandwich there was, and the double cheeseburger, that was the stuff. Now I don't know what in the heck that is. I don't even eat it. I don't eat none of McDonald's stuff because they had the best fries. I don't eat none of that because the food don't taste like it did when we was growing up. It's something different with this food. I don't know what's going on, but it's not like the food we had when we was growing up.
Yeah, it's all just crazy. But listen, guys, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with me kind of like in overtime here, okay? Because we definitely in overtime. But all I can say is, everybody, y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do the Diva a favor. Hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo.